Toucan Play That Game is proudly sponsored by NiceGameShop.com, the place to go for rare and unusual Asian games. Hi, I'm Michael. Take a seat and join me for a game of Unearth by Brotherwise Games, where we will be controlling tribes of delvers, exploring ancient ruins in the hope of finding our lost wonders. This is the game all set up for 2 players. If you need to learn to do this, do watch my how to play video. I'm going to be the blue dice player, and playing with me, well, you see, I grew up playing D&D, and rogues love to explore ancient temples and loot treasure, etc. So it had to be Rogue playing with me. So she's going to be the red dice. And going first is going to be me, but first, let's take a closer look at the named wonders we're using for this game. So we have the Harmonious Columns, which once you've built gives you the power to -1 to any die that you've rolled and is worth 2 points. To build this, you have to have 3 red and then 3 of any colour. The Temple of Clarity here, at the end of the game, will score 1 point for every blue stone you have. And you're going to have at least 4 because it's going to cost you 4 blue plus 2 of any other to build. Once you've built the underground library, whenever you draw stones from the bag, you're allowed to draw 2 and choose which one to keep. And again, this is also worth 2 points, and you can build this really easily. It's as easy as a lesser wonder. You can use any combination of stones. The Temple of Flames will give you 1 point for each red stone in your area at the end of the game. So this is like the Temple of Clarity, but for red rather than blue. And again, it's 4 red and then 2 of any other. So it's my turn first, and my hidden ruin is one of these light purple ones, which there aren't any out of yet, but we'll keep an eye out for collecting those. But first, Delvers. Now I have 2 of the same, Ancestral Claim, which means if I play these, I get to add 2 to the result of a d6. So that'd be, if I rolled a 5, it would go up to just a 6, because that's the maximum. But if I rolled, say, a 3, it would go up to a 5. And if I played them both, then obviously that'd be +4. So, my Delver phase, I'm not going to use these yet because I'll save those till there's actually a need for them, I think. So I think what I'm going to do is go after a stone. So I'm going to use my little D4 here, and we'll go for this green ruin here. So rolling it, we get a 2. Now, because it's between 1 and 3, I get to take a stone, and I'm going to take the red one and just add that randomly in front of me for the time being because I don't have any others yet. And then it's over to Rogue, and she's not playing any Delver cards in her Delver phase, so it's straight on to the Excavation Phase, and she's going to go on this blue card here, and she gets a 2 with a d6, so she's going to take a blue stone, and I'm going to go for a d6 on the green one here, and I get a 5. That's not ideal. Over to Rogue. And Rogue again is not going to play any Delver cards. She's gonna try and poach this off me by using her D8, and she got a 7, so that's now up to 14 in total, so that is going to be claimed. The 7 is the highest dice, so Rogue gets it. I'll get 2 Delver cards. And we have another Ancestral Claim and Flawn. Give -2 to any 1 die already on a ruin. So that could be useful. This black stone goes away, and this goes into Rogue's play area. Our new ruin out, we get a number 9 on orange. 2 stones, we get a blue and a red. So it's now my go. Well, I'd quite like that red stone again, so I'm going to go for D4, and 2 is another red stone, which I add to my play area adjacent to my existing stone. Rogue's then going to send her poacher out again and try and get this red off me. And she does it yet again. She rolled an 8. Okay, that's getting annoying. Yeah, so I do get another Delver card, and we get an ancient map. This turn you may re-roll your excavation roll. So that could be useful. Unfortunately, you have to use it ahead of time. So you save it for when you know you're really going to need a certain result. And Rogue gets yet another ruin. Our new one out is light purple, which means I really want it. And it is my go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna play it cool for now. I'm gonna go for a D4 on there. Make it look like I'm just going after the stone, but building up the value. So we've got a 3, which gives me a stone. I guess I'll go for the blue one. It's the only specified colour for any of the wonders. And we'll just add that there, let's say. Then Rogue, in her Delver phase, is not going to play any cards, so it's on to Excavation. And she's going to go for a D4 on this light blue here, and gets a 2. So we'll take a stone and just place it next to her previous stone. Then it's my Delver phase, and I'm actually going to play 2 of the Ancestral Claims. So that'll give +4 to the next D6 that I roll. And the D6 I'm rolling is on this light purple here. And it was a waste because I rolled a 5. Well, it's not a waste, it puts it up to a 6. Meaning this is now at 9 out of 17. And it's now Rogue's go. And Rogue is gonna, I think, try and poach this out from under me by rolling her D8 and hoping she gets an 8. Oh, she only got a 2. Okay, but that does mean she gets a stone. And that means we're now at 11, so we just need 6 or more on that. But I've got a high roll. Unless she re-rolls her D8, the chances are I'm going to end up with that. So I don't think there's any need for me to use my D8 there. So I think what I'm actually going to do is use my D8 on this light blue here, because a 7 or more will mean I'm then able to poach that. So let's see what we get. A 6. Not quite a poach, but it does mean, you know, I am in the lead on that, and it only needs 1 more. Rogue's go, and she's playing a Delver card. She is playing Forgotten Song. Choose a number, reroll all dice showing this number. So she's going to choose 2. None of my dice show 2, 3 of hers do. So we'll go left to right, so we'll start with this one. She's going to reroll this, and she gets a 4, which means that this now gets claimed, and she doesn't get the stone, that goes away. She will get a new Delver card, along with her dice back. And I get my dice back, and I finally have another ruin. And our new ruin out is a light purple with value of 15 and 3 stones, which are a red, yellow and black. We then need to still re-roll this dice. She gets a 1, so she takes the stone that's there, and then her D8. And she gets a 4. But she still needs to do her excavation roll. So she only needs 2 more to make that go. But actually, before she does her excavation roll, she's going to play another Delver card. Band of Delvers. You may roll 2 dice during the excavation phase. They may go on the same or different ruins. So her first dice, she's going to roll on here, and it's going to be a D4, and she gets a 1, meaning she draws, because there's no stones on there, a stone from the bag, and she gets a blue stone, just what she wanted. Her next one, she's going to roll a D6 on there, and she gets a 3, So again, she draws a stone. Ah, black. Not what she wanted. So she could close this circle now and get a wonder, but she's not going to do that. She instead is going to place it there. So it's back to me, and to claim this light purple one, all I need is 4 or more. I think the best odds I have of that is to use this in the Delver phase, giving my next d6 plus 2, and then roll a d6 on there. So a 2 or more would then be enough. And I rolled a 3, so that becomes a 5, meaning we've got enough for this to be claimed. So Rogue gets 1 card for her dice, and I get my 3 dice back and the ruin. And our new ruin out is a dark purple, value of 11, and a red and yellow stone on it. So it's now Rogue's turn, and she is going to play a Delver card, Forgotten Song. Choose a number, re-roll all dice showing that number. She's going to choose 1. So we'll re-roll d4. Oh, she gets a 4. And d6, she gets a 6. Well, this isn't necessarily bad. It wasn't what she intended, but it's not bad, because that is 13, meaning that she will claim this, and I get nothing. And the new card out is another dark purple, this time value 15 and 3 stones on it. Oh, that's 1 too many stones. And so, my go. Well, I think what I'm going to do is go the d4 on this light purple here in order to try and get that red stone, which I manage. And I'll just add it into my loop. Then Rogue is going to use her d4 on this dark purple here and gets a 3, and she's going to take the blue stone, which when placed here completes this circle. And because it's got 4 blue and 2 of any other colour, means that she can take the Temple of Clarity. So she's going to do that, and she will place the token for it in the middle there. And I've just realised Rogue actually missed her last excavation phase because she claimed a card, but that was through the use of a Delver card, the rerolls, and then I took my go, and then she's taken another go. So she's owed an excavation roll, and I think what she's going to do is go for a d6 on here. And she gets a 1. So she is going to take the, well, she'll take the black stone. And it's my go, and I really want this light purple. And if I roll a d6 and get a reasonably high amount, then she might be in a position to poach this off me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Ancient Map, so I'll be able to re-roll my excavation roll, and I'm going to go for my d8 on this purple here. So let's see, what do we get? Oh, a 6. Okay, let's re-roll. Oh, an 8, that's better. Yes. It was a risk taking the re-roll, but it paid off. Glad to see. So she's not going to be able to poach from me, probably, at the moment. And it's at 11, so a 4 will cause that to go. But it is now her go. And what is she going to do? I think she's going to go for a d6 over here. And she gets a 6. My go, I'm not going to use any Delver cards. I've only got d6s left. I think I'm going to go for a d6 on here, try and get it claimed so I can focus on other things. So 4 is actually enough. So we get rid of this stone. Rogue gets a new Delver card. And I get the Ruin. And our new Ruin is an orange of value 17. We get 3 stones and they're all yellow. There's a lot of yellow stones out. I'm not talking about the pucks. Rogue's not going to play any Delver cards, and she sees an opportunity to get this with me getting nothing. So she's going to go for her D8 on there. She needs a 5 or more. Oh, a 3. Well, that is not ideal. So I think that 3... I mean, maybe she should start collecting up yellow stones, because there's a lot of them there. And then she gets some high wonder points. So she's going to take the yellow stone. And she's going to place it... I guess she'll place it there. So it's back to me, and I want to try and poach this off of Rogue. So I'm going to use my last Delver card, Forlorn, to give -2 to a dice. So I'll do it to this D6 here, down to a 4. And then I'm going to excavate with my D8 there. Oh, okay. So we got a 4, which is just enough for this to be claimed. And we actually have a draw here. We've both got 4s, but because mine is on a D8 and hers is on a D6, I win the tie. So the stone goes away. Rogue will get 2 Delver cards. And at 2 dice, I get my dice back. And I take this Ruin. And new Ruin out is a green 17. With a black and 2 reds on it. Rogue's turn, and she's going to play Lost in the Ruins. Reroll any 1 die already on a Ruin. So she only has the 1. Just D4 here. She gets a 1. She just takes another yellow stone. And she's going to place that just there. No, what would make more sense is for her to go just there. Which has the same effect with regards to the yellow, but potentially creates another hole there. Then Excavation. She's going to go for a D6 on this orange here. And she gets a 4. My go, I have no Delver cards to play, so it will be Excavation. It's just a case of what. And I think I'm going to go for a D4 on this green here. So 2, and I'll take a red, which I will, moving these cards out of the way anyway first, place just there. Rogue is not going to play any Delver cards, and again is going to roll D4, but this time on this Ruin here, and she gets a 3, and she will take a yellow stone, which will go very nicely just there. So let's see if I can't get another red stone. We'll go for a D6 on the green, and a 3 will give me the red stone. And you might have expected me to place this here to claim a Ruin, but I've already got the 4 red that are needed for the Temple of Flames, and anything can go in there. And then the Harmonious Columns want 3 red. So I want to place this so that we have a 3 red started as well. So we've got our 3 red, we've got our 4 red, so we're not so reliant on reds now. We just want to collect as many stones as possible to fill in those gaps. Rogue's going to have yet another almost identical turn, but this time she's going for this card here again, and we get a 1, which will get her another yellow, which will go nicely here. So my go again, and I no longer need reds particularly, just stones of any colour would be useful. None of the cards out I have many of. I have 1 of this, and this is a long way from going. So I think what I'm going to do is try and steal this yellow stone there, and also potentially put myself in a good position to get that card. I think that makes sense. Well, I didn't do well for stealing the stone, but a 6 on the card is definitely a good number to have for claiming the Ruin. Rogue's going to play Restoration. Reroll all of your dice. So we'll start with this one here. She gets a 3, which will get her a black stone, which she'll just add to one of her incompletes at the moment. Then here we get a 5 and a 2. So the 2 gives her another yellow, which she'll add to her obviously yellow focused. And finally her D4. Oh, she gets a 4, which was not what she wanted. She wanted to get the 1 and get that yellow stone. Okay, so she could still play more cards. Does it make sense for her to? I think it might do. So what she's going to do is she's going to give -2 to any one die, and she's going to go for this one here down to a 2, and then choose a number, re-roll all dice showing that number. So she's going to choose 2, so we'll start over here. A 3 gives her a final yellow one, which will complete this wonder of all the same colour. So she will take a greater wonder, as that is the requirement, 6 of the same colour. And she'll look at this, she'll know the score, but we don't get to see it. Then back to the re-rolling of number 2s, we get a 4. So she doesn't get that yellow stone, but she's not so desperate for it now. Oh, and I have a number 2 as well. So I roll that, and I get a 1, so I'll take this black stone, which I think I will put here, because I'm worried that the game's going to run out of time on my plans. And then that's 4 red and 2 others, which gets me the Temple of Flames. So this is worth 1 point for each red stone. Then Rogue's excavation roll, and I think she's going to try and poach this out from under me with her D8. And she does it as well. She rolls a 7, so this can go away. I get 1 Delver card, which we get a new discovery. Give +2 to any dice already on a ruin. And I get my dice back. She'll take hers and the ruin. And our new ruin out is another orange one. Only 11, with 2 stones on it. So, my Delver card, +2 to a dice, isn't really that helpful right now, I don't think. I think what's important is to get on these oranges, to either try and poach them, or to at the very least get the Delver cards. So, I think I'm going to start with a D6 on here, I guess. We'll go with that. D6 on this one. Although, actually D6 on this one might be safest. Yeah, we'll go with D6 on this one. Ah, 5. Not what I wanted at all. Now, Rogue doesn't have any Delver cards left, so she won't be playing one of those, but she could try and poach this using her D8. A 6 or more would do it. So she's going to do that. Oh, she gets a 5, but that does mean that she is in the lead there. However, it is now my go, and I'm going to use a new discovery to turn that into a 6, which makes that 11 with me having the highest number. So the stones go away. Rogue will get a Delver card, and I get the ruin. Oh, and we're nearly out of ruins. We've got another light blue come out. And 2 red stones on it. And that was only my Delver card. I've still got my Explore roll to do. And I'd really like to try and get some of those stones. So I'm going to go for a D6 and hope for low. 3, yep, that will do it. So that gets me another red stone. Because each red stone is worth 1 point to me at the moment. So that seemed like a good thing to do. And I'll add that onto my stone circles. So, Rogue is going to go exploring with her D4 there. She gets a 3, so she'll take this red, placing it just there, which completes that, which meets the requirements for the underground library. So she'll take that. So now when she draws stones from the bag, she can draw 2 and pick which one to keep. So back to me, and I have no Delver cards. I think the most sensible thing for me to do is try and poach this ruin here using my D8. So let's roll, and oh, I get a 1. That's not ideal. Okay, so we draw a stone out of the bag and we get a yellow 1. Now, I'm tempted to put this like here or something and try and get 2 more red out the bag to get a full red set and get a load of points for that. But I feel like we're pretty close to the end of the game, and I'm worried that I won't then complete either of these circles. So I think maybe the most sensible thing to do is just focus on getting a circle complete that will be fewer points than go for the high points. Who cares about being sensible? Let's go for that. Go big or go home, as they say. Rogue only has her D8 left. She does have a Delver card, which she could play. Actually, yeah, she's going to play her Delver card. Reroll all of your dice. So she's going to reroll all her dice. So we start here, we get a 2. So because of her library, she draws 2 and picks which one to keep. So she can have a blue or a yellow. Well, the blue is worth a point to her, so she will take the blue. Then this dice here, she gets a 4. This dice, she gets a 1. So again, she draws 2 and picks which one to keep. 2 yellow, so she'll be taking a yellow. Which might not be a point itself, but placing it here, it completes another stone circle. And she's going to take a lesser wonder, because that can be made up of anything. So she just draws the top one, she gets to look at the points, and then drops it in as hidden information to us. And then her D4 re-rolling, she gets a 1. So again, because of her library, she draws 2. Red or black? Well, if she takes the red, it means I can't get it, so that denies me a point. Then her excavation roll, we've got 6 or more on that, so she's going to try and poach that. Ah, 5. I mean, a 5 isn't a bad roll, but it wasn't enough to then poach it. So it's at 10 at the moment. And it's my go. All I've got left is a D6. I mean, the chances of me beating that 5 with a D6 are not great. So I think I might be better off getting onto one of these other cards and potentially getting a stone. So we'll go for a D6 on here. I get a 3. So I draw a stone from the bag, because there's none on the card. Oh, and I get a red 1. Perfect. So I'll add that to the red circle I was creating. And it's back round to Rogue. Now, Rogue has no Delver cards, so she can't play a Delver card. She also has no dice. So she needs to pick a dice and then reassign it. And I think the dice she's going to go for, I mean, this is just one off. So I think she's going to go for a D4 on there and hope that she gets, 2 or more. So that's now at 11. And also, oh, of course, she gets a stone. So drawing 2, picking the one to keep, she'll go for the blue, which she'll add to her empire of wonders here. And she'll take another lesser wonder. Then I get 2 Delver cards for my dice on here, which we have a new discovery plus 2 on a dice, and a new discovery plus 2 on a dice. And she gets the ruin, which means we reveal our end of age card, Day of Rest. Each player draws 3 cards from the Delver deck. So 3 cards for Rogue, and our 3 cards, we've got Reading the Stones. Give the next die rolled either +1 or -1. Another Reading the Stones. What's the bet this is another Reading the Stones? Okay, it's not. Expedition. You may choose where to place your excavation roll after you roll it. That might be handy. So we've got a lot of Delver cards suddenly. And it is our go. So do we want to use any of those? Well, I think we'll play the expedition. So we decide where we place it after we roll. And I think we'll also play reading the stones, so we can give the next die +2 or -2. And then we're going to go with our D8, I think. And so I'm trying to get it so that we get either a useful number we can use or we can place it somewhere. Yeah, you get the idea. So anyway, D8, we can plus or -2. Well, plussing it to make it a 4 won't really help us anywhere. So I think we'll minus it down. Or actually, we'll do one way, one the other way, so it stays the same. Let's do that. So we've got a 2. Where do we want to place this 2? I think we'll place it there. And of course, it's a 2, so we get a stone. And pray for red, and we get black. Rogue's go, and she's going to play Lost in the Ruins. Reroll any one die. And she's gonna, so she could reroll one of mine, but she's gonna reroll this one here, and she gets a 4, so that puts that to 11. So for her actual excavation roll, she's gonna try and get the 6 or more on her D8, and she rolled a 4, which puts it 15. Which puts it good, easy reach for me. Well, that's very good for me, frankly. I think what I'm going to do is needs 2 more. So I'm just going to use a new discovery to turn that to a 5, which will then cause it to be claimed. That will give Rogue 3 Delver cards, mind. But then gives me the Ruin. Then I think Excavation next. I've only got D6s, so I think I'm going to go for a D6 on there. And I get a 2, which does have the benefit of meaning I get a stone, so let's go. Come on, red. Come on, come on, and yes, red! And that will fit in perfectly there, which will allow me to take a Greater Wonder, and it is only 6 points. They can be between 6 and 8, so that's the lowest possible, unfortunately. But also means I'm only 1 more stone off of completing another wonder, so we'll try and get that before the game ends. Rogue's turn, and she's going to play Expedition, allowing her to choose where to place her roll after rolling it. And she'll also play Ancient Map. This turn you may re-roll your excavation roll. So she's going to roll her d8. She gets a 5. I think she's going to re-roll that. That's better, a 7. So a 7 would be the perfect amount to poach this. So she'll go for that, because that puts it to 13. So I get 2 Delver cards, which are Lost in the Ruins, reroll 1 die, reading the stones, give plus or minus 1. So that's my 2 dice back, and she gets the Ruin. I would have liked that Ruin. It would have been a 3rd one in a set, which would have been useful. But it's now my go. We only have the 1 Ruin to roll on. So what can I do that will be most useful? Well, I'm going to start with reroll any 1 die on a Ruin and try and get the last stone that I need for my 3rd wonder, so I get the 3rd wonder point. So I'm going to reroll this d4, getting a 2. So I draw a stone, and it's blue, which isn't the end of the world, because at least it can go in here and complete that circle, and I'm going to take a Lesser Wonder. Now I had said about taking the Harmonious Columns, but giving dice -1 when we've only got the one ruin left really doesn't seem that useful, so I'm going to go for the Lesser Wonder. It's worth 3 points, so it wasn't the least, it was mid-value, so worth doing one more point than the Harmonious Columns was worth. And that was just a Delver card. So do I want to play either of these? I think it might be time to. So I'm going to play a new Discovery, giving +2 to this dice here. And then I'm also going to give Reading the Stones to give +or -1 to my next dice. And I'm just going to go with the D8 and try and get as high as possible on this. Oh, there we go. Very nicely done. So this only needs 2 more. Now it's Rogue's turn, and she's going to play Forlorn to reduce this down to a 6. And hope and pray, I think. She's going to try and poach it, rolling her D8. And she only gets a 4, which is just enough to cause it to be claimed. I'm not going to bother giving her the card because they're not worth any endgame points, and that is the end of the game. So, revealing Rogue's secret information. She had a dark purple for her ruin. So she's got 3 pairs of 2, each one worth 6, so that's 6, 12, 18. The one green is worth 2, so that's 20. She doesn't have all 5 colours. She does have more than 3 wonders, so she gets +5, so that's 25. Then the points from her wonders. This greater wonder here is 7, lesser for 4, a lesser for 3, 2 and 1 per blue. So that's another 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, putting her at 47 points. So, can I beat 47? Well, let's see. My hidden card, as you know, was a light purple. So we have 3 of those, which is 12 points. Then we've got another 6 for these, so that's 18, 20, 22, 24 for sets. Then we do have all the 5 different types, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's another 5 points, taking us to 29. We do have 3 or more wonders, so that's another 5, taking us to 34. Then points for our wonders, well, we've got 6, 3, so that's 9, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 17 points, bringing us to a total of 51. So, I win. And that is Unearth by Brotherwise Games. I do hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have, please do check out the rest of the videos on the channel, as well as subscribing and sharing. And as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.